Let's imagine for a moment that you're a student and you've missed a class. And so you've gone into your Canvas gradebook to identify assignments that are missing to get caught up. And when you click into those assignments to make up your missing work, you are faced with the following scenario. A lot of our students click into their assignments and find a potential roadblock because they either don't remember what they're supposed to do for an assignment or they were missing altogether and are trying to get caught up on some of their absent work. So one of the ways that we can think about this is figuring out a way to build out assignment descriptions that will help us eliminate some of the obstacles that are preventing our students from completing their missing work. And one way to do that is to create what we call a rich assignment. Working within a really robust learning management system such as Canvas gives us a lot of tools to make our assignments really interactive. And a rich assignment is going to embed as much of that rich interaction as possible so that each assignment is essentially one-stop shopping for our students. The best way to think about it is to consider what specific information is going to be helpful to a student or even a parent or some sort of support staff that's working with the student to help them get caught up. And so we can think about all the resources we can include within an assignment description to help support that student in their effort to submit their missing work or to get caught up when they miss class. So where do we go from here? If a student clicks in and sees their assignment and this is what is visible to them, what sort of things can we do as educators to remove some of those obstacles and to make it easier for them to get caught up? One of the best things that we can do is include some basic directions so that they know what they were supposed to be doing. This works great if you have students that maybe veered off task and kind of missed some of those verbal directions in class, as well as those that are working to get caught up because they missed class altogether. Even better, in addition to directions, it's really great to link or embed any documents or handouts or worksheets that you used for that particular assignment to provide a visual cue for students as we kind of navigate a world in which our students are working digitally and also with hard copies of materials. Sometimes having that visual cue is really helpful, like a signpost to help them know what to dig out of their folder or their binder to work on to submit for this particular assignment. Our best case scenario is to not only include directions and those linked and embedded documents, but also to provide our learning targets. It's no secret what our students' goal needs to be in completing an assignment, so it's helpful for us to communicate that to them from the get-go. Additionally, any resources that might provide some sort of support or assistance to help students complete that assignment are really great to link within that assignment description, again, to make it really interactive and one-stop shopping for a student to locate any particular resource that they could use in order to be successful. So what does that look like? Ideally, if a student clicked into an assignment, we'd love for them to see an embedded worksheet for that visual cue or some sort of direction so that they're not greeted with that empty assignment shell. Instead, they're going to see what they're supposed to be working on, or at least some breadcrumbs to know what they need to do. And even better would be to include both of those things. So in this case, we have both the directions and the embedded visual cue of what the student is working on. This page highlights some examples that might kind of fit our best case scenario. So on the left side, you have the same example we've been working off of in which the directions are included. There's an embedded worksheet to serve as a visual cue for students, or if students don't have access to the worksheet, they can still view it and complete it on a separate sheet of paper. But what makes this one different than the previous example is now we have a learning target. So we're being very transparent about what the learning goal is, and it also gives a learning cue for our students to kind of know what they're working towards. The other example that's provided here on the right side for the crime scene sketch, this one's a little bit different in that there's not necessarily an embedded resource because for this particular assignment, students are going to be creating something new. So instead, to make this a rich assignment, there are other resources that are linked here. There's very detailed directions for students, but then there's also hyperlinks that are going to fulfill that idea of kind of one-stop shopping for including everything a student might need. There's a link to the rubric in Canvas. Sometimes the rubrics are tucked away within a kebab button and not easy to view, so you can help get your students there so they know the exact assessment criteria that they're going to be held accountable for. But what I also love in this example is the link to student samples. This is great for students to kind of get an idea of what the expectation is so they can also work towards meeting that learning goal. So when you're providing some student samples, there are two ways that you could potentially do this. On the assignment on the left for the sample Kami assignment, students were just drawing a picture in Kami to make sure that they could use all the annotation tools earlier in the semester. And in this case, there are a couple of student samples that are embedded as image files right there in the assignment description, so students can kind of see what other students are capable of or were able to create on their own. In the case of the crime scene sketch assignment that I've provided as an example on the right side, that link, if you open it up, is actually a shared link to a whole folder within my Google Drive, and then students can browse through a selection of other student samples from years past. So again, you can either embed them within the assignment or consider linking them to an external website. In this case, it was just a shared Google Drive link. If you're curious about the difference between internal and external linking, both are going to allow us to provide some supports for our students. If you look in the slides, there are these two video clips that are showing you how to link internally by going to your course links and linking to other resources that are already present within your Canvas course. An example of this might be perhaps linking to notes or lecture slides that students could use to help them complete a practice worksheet or an assignment. The external links is going to link you anywhere outside of your Canvas course. So if you're copying and pasting a hyperlink to another website or a shared link from a resource, that's going to be an external link. And so you can click on that hyperlink button or the chain link icon from your rich text editor toolbar and then paste the link in. So in both of these situations, we're either linking within our course to other resources that we've created or linking outside of our course, again, helping get students where they need to be to find the support and the help that they need in order to be successful on the assignment. When we're building out rich assignments, it's not necessarily perfect to have everything included because different assignments are going to have different requirements or different features, and so students will require different levels of support and different types of support. This list just gives you a couple of ideas of things to consider including, but please don't feel like you have to include all of these things for every single assignment that you create. But it does help you brainstorm some things that could potentially be helpful to students. One of my favorites on this list is the links to tech tool support. So if I am using any external tools or I'm asking my students to use them to complete an assignment, such as Kami, Edpuzzle, even Canvas, etc., to help give them an opportunity to take ownership of their learning journey and find the answers to their questions on their own. So the quick tip at the bottom is when I'm creating assignments, I always find it really helpful to think about or to anticipate what questions students are going to have when they're completing the assignment. And so it's a lot of front loading in what types of things can I include that can help prevent some of those questions from bubbling to the surface, because we're going to build in a lot of those supports for students to find on their own and to have easy access to directly from that one assignment. If you are using a lot of paper assignments in your classroom, it's still a great opportunity to create a rich assignment. Even though you're doing something with paper and pencil in your classroom, if a student is not sure what they're missing from the gradebook and they click into it, if you've embedded a PDF or a Google Drive document into your page or your assignment description, it gives that visual cue for students. Yes, they may have the paper copy, but they also have kind of a paper trail or breadcrumb trail within their Canvas course to know which paper in their binder goes with this particular assignment. If you're looking to kind of restructure and organize the information that you're including in your assignment descriptions, you could consider using the CLS assignment template that's available to download in Canvas Commons. You can see what it looks like. It's very basic, but it gives you kind of a skeletal structure, almost for us to remember what sort of things we want to include. The best advice as we start switching some of our assignments to more rich assignments is to start small. It's really easy to type in directions that maybe we weren't including before because we were giving them verbally in the classroom. But if we also type them out, then it's helpful for students to reference later, or for students that weren't there to hear the directions to have those present. So that's an easy thing that we can start doing as we create new assignments. And also, if there are other materials within your Canvas course you've already created and they already exist, it's really simple to add those internal course links to pre-existing materials. So you're not necessarily creating a ton of new stuff, you're just creating more access points to help students get what they need. need. As you're looking to incorporate other supports and resources and other links, go slow, just layer in those supports as you continue to build out your courses. And also don't forget that you are not going at it alone. For a lot of our courses, we have people within our district and within our buildings that we can collaborate with. If you have any other questions about small things that you can do to make your assignments in Canvas more rich assignments, please don't hesitate to reach out.